Hi, guys. Van life. We just did one of those. Living out of a van, boondocking it. So let's recap and go over the myths and some tips. Welcome to the podcast, Strange Conversations with your host, me, Yo Anch. Here we're going to be exploring the odd, the unexpected, the memorable, and most of all, the unusual, strangest conversations that you'll ever have. Let's get into it. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Here's the thing, van life. Joe and I just did one of these. We did van life for 9 days, and everyone's seen what van life is about. You see it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I don't know. Is there another one? Threads? That's the new thing. Everybody's got van life going on, okay? And van life, if you don't know what it's about getting a camper van, a van that's like a converted van, conversion van. Remember those from back in the day? But these are even to the more extreme. They're like mini RVs, but they're vans. So they're still a class B, like a regular vehicle, and people are living in them. There are people that actually live in these camper vans. But we weren't going to do that. We were just going to live in it for 9 days. That's what we did. And we drove from New York City all the way down to Florida. Now, what we see in all of these pictures on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, everything we see, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Everybody is having the time of their life. It's simple. It's easy. It's glamorous. Beautiful landscapes. Nothing's ever a mess. Everything's wonderful. The world is wonderful in van life. Is that true? Let's go over some of the myths and some of the truths and some of the tips that maybe I can help you with from my experience. And now I only did it for 9 days, but it was a thorough 9 days. I have some things that worked out great, some things that didn't work out. And yeah, let's just get into it. So, and like I said, if you look at anything on social media, it's huge. I mean, my niece even had a camper van. She had a Sprinter. A Sprinter, guys. Like, those are the expensive ones. The one we rented was not a Sprinter. It was a Dodge Ram ProMaster, but it was converted very well into a camper van. Now, my niece did have one. Like I said, had. She no longer does. She had it for probably about a year, but I don't think they did as much as they would have wanted to with it for a number of reasons. We'll go over that, okay? But let's just kind of break it down a little bit. Myths we're going to go over. Myth number 1. Van life is perfect. God, that's so funny. Van life is perfect? Yo, life itself is never perfect, yet let alone van life. That if you think your life isn't perfect, van life isn't going to make it, okay? I'm just going to let you know on that one, okay? Well, if you watched any of our lives in the past week, you'll see van life is not perfect. You're going to run into all sorts of hiccups, especially if it's your first time on the road doing this kind of thing. One of the things I'm going to tell you that definitely we had to get used to, which makes it not perfect, is it's a much larger vehicle to drive. Unless you guys are driving around cargo vans on the normal, this is much bigger. We have a Jeep, guys. We have a Jeep Unlimited, the big Jeep, 4 doors. It's a big Jeep. You sit out high. This was taking the Jeep to the next level. You literally were sitting up so high, I felt like I was in a semi. And it's very big. It was all of 20 feet. And it was 9.5 feet tall. So you also had to be aware of the size of the vehicle. How tall is the vehicle? You cannot go into parking garages if you have a very high vehicle. Trust me, look at the signs, okay? It's not easy. So van life is not going to be perfect. And like one of the things I said that we had a big problem with when we first pulled away was locking all of the drawers and the doors and everything. I cannot tell you how many times we'd started to pull away and all of a sudden you'd hear this huge bang, and it was because one of the drawers just decided to slide open and stuff, and all of everything inside of it was like banging around. Now, you can't have that because that's how you're going to break something. We actually did break one of our coffee mugs that we brought with us. I'll have to replace it. But yeah, you got to make sure everything's on lockdown and tight. And you got to pull on them. You don't just go by sight. You got to go yank on every drawer, everything. And also make sure to turn off the fans. You cannot drive with the fans on, like the overhead fans that give ventilation, because you will break them. And those are expensive. We don't want to do that. Yeah, it's not perfect. You're going to have an argument. We had an argument 25 minutes into the ride. And it's because Joe was not used to driving that kind of vehicle. Like I said, it's much larger. It's not your car. You don't know how the brakes are. You don't know like every corner of it. You are not used to it. And me as a passenger, I wasn't used to it. So sitting up so high with a windshield that went from my knees all the way up to the top, it was like I was in an action film, literally seeing everything come at me. And like, it was like 3D. Well, I mean, it was 3D, but it was like 4 or 5D is what it felt like. High definition. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of planning that goes into it as well. Okay. Myth number 2, van life is cheap. Now that is like one of the things that everybody's talking about. Oh, you live in a van. You live for free. Nobody lives for free unless you got a sugar daddy or something. And even then you're paying it and somehow. But I'm saying it's not free. It's not cheap. I mean, you can make it cheap. You can do it on a budget. One of the things we did is we rented this van. We don't own a van life van. We don't own a camper van. I wanted to test it. So we rented it out. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, it's not a cheap thing to do even in your life. One, you got to pay for the vehicle. Now, if you're getting a relatively new vehicle, you might as well chalk up like that kind of car is going to cost you about $50,000, $40,000 to $50,000. Okay. Then you got to pay for the build. A build can be anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. I did ask the owner of the rental company that we used, which was Vanish Travel. I asked him, I said, Kevin, how much does these vans cost? Like, how much does it cost you? And he said, I said, is it about $100,000? And he's like, yeah, that's about it. It might be a little bit more, depending about how much the builds are, because it's going gangbusters right now, guys. Think about it. That van, and I'm not talking New York prices, okay? Like, we can't buy a house here in New York for that price. But that van is the cost of a home anywhere else in the US. Think about it in that kind of terms, okay? Now, there are people that will be out there that can do the build themselves. Absolutely. We are not those people. And there are people that actually do supply kits to do this. We are not those people. Okay. So we rented it, and I'm going to tell you the price that we actually ended up costing us $200 a day to rent it, plus taxes, plus insurance. Okay. So figure that all in. $200 a day is pretty much where we ended up on the price. And that was for the van that we had. And it was amazingly outfitted. I will tell you that. They did a great job. There wasn't even propane on it. It was all electric. And I told you guys, like, during the trip, one of the reasons why there was no propane is because going in and out of certain cities that have tunnels and bridges and things like that, there are restrictions on propane, specifically New York. Okay, you cannot bring that into here. There's just too much. They don't want that liability. And personally, I don't want that liability either. I would rather have electric. Were we cooking that much on the stovetop? No, we made coffee. And then I cooked dinner one time. I think one time. Everything else we just ate out of the fridge and stuff. But I would strongly advise anybody that's thinking of getting one of these vehicles or doing this type of life, definitely rent a van first. Test it out. See what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I know people are going to be like, oh, you wasted that money. No, it was not a waste. If anything, it was a way for us to take a vacation in a very singular kind of way, and also to find out if we even liked it. Because there would be nothing worse than spending $100,000, $80,000 and finding out you really don't like that. You just don't like it. Also, we want to know, how much cupboard space would we need? Is this a good idea? Do we need to have a bathroom? What kind of bathroom is it? There's different kinds of bathrooms, guys. There's a lot of stuff about it. So, yeah, before you jump full on in, rent one of those things out and see how you like it. There's a lot of companies across the country that do this. Vanish Travel Company is the one that we used here. They're based out of Jersey City in New Jersey, just across the river. They also have offices in, I think, Austin, Texas, and also in Washington, D.C. They probably are looking at expanding, but I can only imagine. I mean, they have a lot of vans. They have a good number of vans, but that's pretty spendy and it's a lot of work. So there's a lot of places you can get them. Check them out. I know out west, this is huge out west. It's huge. And the possibilities out there are massive. Out east, it's happening, but not quite as large. I'm just going to let you know. I was really glad that we went with Vanish, though, over the other one because I like the whole turnkey. Like, I'm going to pay for it. I know it's going to work. It's not going to be like I have to carry a lot of stuff with me to make this happen. Just saying. Okay. Myth number 3. Van life is only for the young. Come on, guys. I know I'm an anomaly that I do social media. I know I'm not the norm, but let's just say this couldn't be further from the truth. Van life is not for the young. The only thing that's different is that the young are the ones that are posting on Instagram and TikTok because, well, they use and grew up with social media. We did not. I am a Gen Xer, okay? We didn't grow up with that kind of social media invading our life every day. I mean, we have it, we use it, but we don't live by it, if you understand what I'm speaking about. So, yes, you're going to always see these wonderful, really young millennials and whatever else they're called. I don't even remember what the ones, Gen Zers that are even below the millennials, younger than the millennials doing this kind of thing. But I'm going to tell you, that is not the people that's all out there. In fact, I find it to be a very small portion of people who do this. A lot of them are going to be people who are older and have the means to do this because remember, myth number 2, it's cheap. It ain't cheap. Okay. And they have more experience. I think the older crowd has more experience in how to be flexible and stuff. Everybody would think the young ones are flexible. Trust me, they are not. They really do want their hotel room and running water and a bathroom. Nobody wants to be emptying the toilet, the facilities. Nobody wants to do that. Older people will, yeah, that's the thing. But let me just say, so most of the people are going to be like, I mean, if you remember, RVing was huge. My grandparents did the whole camper RV thing from small, like I'm talking small to big. Like my grandparents started camping and RVing like with a big pickup truck and a built-in camper thing on the back. I remember him outfitting it. He did it all himself. He built in the benches, the bed, the table, everything into the back. It all transformed. And I was like just taken with it. I remember sitting in the back of that truck thinking, oh my gosh, the possibilities. But he did it. They would go down to Florida for months and they would camp. They would go to one basic RV camp and that's where they would be. Now they grew from that and they went into a smaller RV. It was a pop-up and then they went into an RV and then it was a trailer. They never got into the motor coach or motor home kind of thing. It was always a pull behind, but they just kept getting bigger to the point of they had slide outs and everything. But think about it. RVing's been around for a really long time. Van life is just taking that concept and putting it into a more like vehicle that's you can traverse farther with. It's not so large. You don't have to have a towing vehicle with it. You can actually move your house where you want to. And that's the key. The camper van thing, the van life thing, that's the key, is that you are moving your house wherever you want to, and it's not a big deal. Now, I know I had a lot of people asking me, why didn't you just get an RV, Edge? Well, that was the point. I don't want that. I love the idea of what my grandparents did, but I wanted to be able to travel from place to place to place and not just go to a place and stay. We'll touch a little more on my thoughts on that whole thing a little later. But that was the whole point, is that I wanted to be able to be very mobile. And if I got tired and I wanted to stop, it would be very easy for us to just stop. That was my whole thought process. So, I mean, it wasn't always called a van life. It used to be, it's called RVing. People still do it to this day. It's been around for a huge long time. It's just that now the young people use the social media. And actually, I've been finding more and more YouTubers that document their whole van life story. Like they travel everywhere, and some of them are older and single. Like a single older woman is traversing cross country back and forth all the time. To me, that's wild. And I love that kind of idea. Could I do it? Probably not, because I do like a home base. I do like a home base. Okay, myth number 4. Van life is glamorous. Do I look glamorous? Yo, I am like the farthest thing from glamorous. And I kind of laugh because it's like I get up, I put on a damn uniform pretty much. Well, let's just say real life is still going to happen even in van life. And you're still going to need the basics, guys, like showers and bathrooms. And you're going to need to cook and you're going to need to clean. And, you might even have to do your laundry. All of that's still going to take place. So the glamour part, I don't know where these people are getting that it's going to be glamorous. Um, People call it glamping, things like that, a glam van, all of that stuff. It's not glamorous. It's adventurous. I will tell you that. But you are still going to need to figure out how you're going to do showers. Is there going to be a shower in the van? If there is a shower in the van, are you willing to go through that much water? This is the stuff that goes through your head. You probably only carry maybe like 26 gallons of water. A shower, the way we take showers, everybody takes showers, is probably going to go through about 10 gallons of water. You're going to have to do a military style shower where you wet yourself down, suds yourself up with the water off, and then hose yourself down like a dog. That's what's going to have to take place. So we decided not to go with the shower in the van because that was too much to deal with. And instead, we decided to get Planet Fitness memberships. I got a membership, the black card. I can bring a guest. And so our shower plan was that we would hit up Planet Fitnesses along the way. Now, if you have a black card, you can always bring a guest with you, no charge. Only thing is, I will tell you, you are allowed as a black card member 10 visits, I think, per month outside of your home club. Now, I've heard that they're pretty lenient. It's not a big deal kind of thing. They might charge you a small fee of like $5, but I would be willing to pay that. But that's the whole thing. And it worked out. I'll tell you right now, it worked out great. Worked out great. Next thing, toilets. Yes, you are going to need to have a bathroom. You can try to not have one and use public. Now, we mostly did use a lot of public facilities. But you will need a toilet for those times when you wake up at 5 in the morning. Okay. And you just drank like, I don't know, a half a gallon of water the night before. You're not going to make it to a facility. And 5 in the morning, who's got the wits about them while they got to go? Well, it's urgent. You're not going to. So you do kind of need something to handle that. And you got to think about that. Okay. Cooking. Cooking is something you're probably going to have to do. Either it's very light. I don't know if you're going to have a microwave or whatever. Remember, you're going to have to still do that in the thing. And then cleaning. I'm going to tell you right now, you better keep that place straight. You cannot have chaos. I know I came into this whole thing from living in an apartment in New York City. So I'm pretty much acclimated to keeping a small space tidy. Like everything has to go away. It has to be put away. Nothing is left out. We don't do that because it is way too easy for it to get out of hand. So we don't leave things sitting out. There's never a pile of mail. There's never this. You don't leave shirts. You don't leave shoes. Everything goes. I swear to God, I feel like one of those videos you see where people are putting away everything in like a drawer. That's exactly how it is. We even had a little sweeper broom and stuff so we could sweep the floor of the van every day just to keep it tidy. Air freshener too, just so you know. You got to remember, you're not in a hotel. There is no maid and there is no housekeeping services. You are it. So that is the part where it is not glamorous. If you have facilities, as in the bathroom on board, somebody is going to have to empty those facilities. Okay? And it's going to have to be you or whoever is with you. I don't count that as glamorous. It's just something that has to happen. So real life happens on the road. Is it glamorous? You could take those beautiful pictures and make it seem like it is, but it's real life. But it's on the road. It's adventurous. How about we say that? Number 5 myth. Van life is always legal. Now, what I'm speaking of when I say van life, and others can, chime in, leave a comment. I'm sure I will get some people telling me otherwise. Whatever. This is my opinion. It's my podcast. What I mean by van life, is it always legal? Okay, it's not always legal. You have to be aware of the rules and the laws in the area that you are in. And by van life, I'm talking boondocking. Now, if you don't know what boondocking is, it's basically parking in the public, not utilizing a campsite or an RV park. Boondocking is saying, I'm going to park on the streets of New York. I'm going to go park in this parking lot. I'm going to go park by the beach. I'm going to go park on the beach. I'm going to park wherever I want to park, and I'm not going to have to pay for it. Now, there's not going to be any hookups. You must be self-contained. You're not going to have any dump sites or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you, everywhere it's not legal. And by that I mean is that you better read the signs. Because a lot of places, certain places, especially in places that you would think that this would be, they have laws and jurisdictions that say you may not overnight park. And by overnight park, they mean you may not sleep in your vehicle. Now, the places that I was running into this is, I heard South Florida, okay? Like Key West. And the reason why is Key West is all privately owned. There is no real public space there for them. Everything is owned. They do not want people to come down there, park on the streets or in the parking lots, and basically live there 6 months out of the year. I can understand the reasoning. So you are strongly you will get a ticket. You'll get a knock on your window at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you'll probably get a ticket and told to move. And nobody wants that. Now, we didn't get all the way down to Key West. I knew that was going to be an issue probably because now is beginning of the high season down there. All the snowbirds have left the city. As the holidays approach, they all go south. So I have a feeling, especially out here in the East, you may run into some of that. Just do yourself a favor, read all of the parking signs. Some parking lots, like say municipal lots, might have parking fees for certain times of the year and certain times of the day. Outside of that, if it does not say there is no parking overnight, you should be good to go. And you could chance it. It's up to you. You got to go with your own vibes and stuff. And, that's what we used. We parked in a municipal lot. One of the places that we know that you can park, for the most part, I'm going to say for the most part, are Cracker Barrels, which is funny to me, but they're very RV friendly. In fact, they have some of the back parking lots are actually marked for RV parking because so many of them utilize it. If you are concerned or wonder, you can always just ask the manager or somebody inside the restaurant and they will know if they do. In fact, we did, and I did it on live one time and asked them, is it okay to park here? And they're like, absolutely, we are RV friendly. And you just pull up to a site. You usually park a few spaces away from the next person. But one time we parked in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, and I think there may be, including us, 4 vehicles in the lot. And I think we parked about 8 o'clock in the evening. And so we would shut everything down. You put up your window shades, always put up your window shades or privacy things and stuff. And we hunkered down for the night because we were exhausted. We woke up the next morning. I swear to you, there were 15 to 20 RV camper vans in that parking lot. It looked like it looked like a damn Jellystone RV park. I was cracking up. Joe's like, "And you won't believe how many people are out here. There's a lot." And I'm not talking all my size vehicles. They weren't camper vans. I'm talking full blown motor coach, like huge, like a bus, a bus. Like these are privately owned. I was like, yo, even them, they want a boondock. Because I'm going to tell you, you know why? Because the RV parks and the camping sites and stuff are now not as cheap as they used to be. I remember if you went in and you didn't have to hook up, it could be $10 a night, $20 a night if it was bougie. It's not so anymore. It's like 50, 75, 100. Some places are $200 a night. At that point, why am I in an RV? That I now have to pay for that too. That's where I was doing this. I wanted to do this as a boondocker. I wanted to do it as much as possible without having to pay for a campsite. But like I said, always check your signage, always know the jurisdictions, do your research. If you know what part of area of the country you're going to, double check their parking regulations. You may not know what they are, but nobody wants that 2 a.m. knock on the window. Okay. Know before, educate yourself. All right, myth number 6. Van life is always safe. I don't know where people got that one from. Listen, I grew up in Detroit. I now live in NYC. So I feel that I have a pretty decent, good instinct in regards to safety and street smarts. Okay. I totally go with my intuition. If I get like a jinky feeling, like something's like kinky, I don't like it, I'm bouncing out of that area. No way. No flipping way. I know many people don't have like the background that I have, where I grew up, where I live. Here in New York, your head is kind of like on a swivel a lot. Like you take notice of everything. That is just something that you kind of grow into. You're constantly looking to your left, looking to your right, who's standing in line behind me, kind of thing. That's just what it is. You take notice of everything on the street. It's it's something that you don't have when you are in any other place in the US. I'm going to tell you, unless you live in like one of those cities like Detroit, Chicago, something like that. LA maybe. I know that when I was living in Minnesota, we lived there for 15 years, I didn't have to be on such high alert. You know what I mean? Because you just got very lackadaisical about it. You're just kind of like, oh, it's fine. We don't have to lock our doors. Let me tell you, one of the things you do, you always lock your door, especially if you're in the van. I don't care if it's daylight, the door is locked. You don't know. You are in a van and people could be, and it's 20 feet. It's 20 feet. You can't see, there's no windows everywhere. You cannot see all the way around the van. You lock those doors because you just don't need to put yourself in any situation. Always safety, safety, safety first. Always safety first. And you always have your keys on you or near you. Every fan that I've seen has like a button that is the all lock button. Like one button, bink, everything's done. And all you do is push it. All lock. Definitely do it. It's easy. You just do it and stuff. Joe was very aware of that as well. In fact, we did run into one night where we were going to go take our showers and then go find a place to boondock for the evening. We had a couple of places scoped out. So we found the Planet Fitness because, like I said, we were using the Planet Fitness as our, showering facilities and getting ready for bed facilities or whatever. And we got over there. Now, here's the thing, when you're traveling in a van, you don't know all the neighborhoods. Like I could tell you here in New York City what neighborhoods you don't go to. I could tell the same thing if I was in Minneapolis, St. Paul. What neighborhoods do you not go to? When you're traveling in a van in an area that you do not know, you got to start looking for things and you got to put that antenna up. So we were going to go to this Planet Fitness. And right away, when we started pulling into the area, into the shopping mall, it was in a shopping mall area, I noticed that they had one of those police spotlight things and a light and everything and stuff set up in the parking lot just for light, for security. Number one, that's an issue. That tells me that there is a high probability of theft, things like that, small crimes like that are happening. Then I started surveying what does it look like around here? How are the people acting? Just as I looked up, there was a guy with a shopping cart full of stuff, and no, he was living out of the shopping cart. I live in New York, and we deal with a lot of people that are homeless. And I'm not saying anything derogatory about them, but you can tell people that are just homeless or people that are desperate. And people that are desperate will do things that may not be the best. So I looked at it. Joe was starting to, shut things down so we could go get in our showers. And I said to Joe, before we even unlocked the doors, I said, "How do you feel about this area?" And he goes, "I don't know. How do you feel?" I go, "No, this is this isn't jiving. We're out. I'm out. Next place. There's plenty of them around." And he's like, "Okay, not a problem." He never questioned me, backed it up, got out of there, went to one that was 5 miles away, maybe 5 miles away. Totally different story. So, like I said, always go with your instincts. Look at the little things. That's what's going to tell you if you are in a safe area or not a safe area. Like I said, once I started seeing that they had in numerous parking lots these giant police, flood lamps. No, no, don't do that. Just so you guys know that. Hint for you. Myth number 7, van life is easy. Yes and no. Okay. I'm going to tell you, you're going to need to be resourceful, and flexible. Those are the two things, resourceful and flexible. That's what you got to be. And here's examples. Showers we used at Planet Fitness. Okay. That's being resourceful. I had a lot of apps that I downloaded. Schedules can change due to the weather. Who wants to be driving through the rain to stop in some place that's the rain? Start checking where the rain is coming from. And then if you can drive out of the rain, like by an hour or an hour and a half, drive the hell out of the rain to the sun. You don't need to be in the rain. If you have to be, granted, that's where you're at, but be flexible with it. I had an itinerary kind of planned. I knew what I was going to do, what I wanted to do. And if it changed, it changed. So be it. But have an idea, be familiar with that. The other thing is have a reliable internet connection. Now, we didn't have Wi Fi with us. We just used our phones and used our data, you know, to whatever, you know what I mean? We just used our data on our phones because we have unlimited and stuff. But that was able to help us find the Planet Fitness locations using their app to check the weather, to see what it was, to see if places were open, find out where's the next um Wawa, Love's Trucks Up, where's Bucky's, what's coming up on this, entrance and exits. Because signs, like before, we always had maps and we would go by road signs. Like you would go and says, this giant billboard would say in 5 miles, exit, blah, blah, blah. This is where you get off for that. I don't know. There's new regulations out there. Signs aren't out there. And if you're on like a secondary road for whatever reason, you don't have any signs and you don't know what's coming around the bend. So make sure you have a good, reliable phone internet connection that you can search and find what you need. I swear to God, download all of the apps you might need prior to going out on a trip. And I did that. And not just download them, familiarize yourself with them, please. Don't think that you're going to be able to get on there, and then you find out you have to sign up for something and, log in and all that. Get it all set up before you walk out the dang door. Swear to God. Yeah, and also know the roads before traveling. So know if you're going to be if 90 know what is the main road that you need to be on. Is it 75? Is it 95? What road is it? What is the main road? So you at least know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, guys. So now I'm going to go through my top tips to help you do your own van life adventure. Okay? Ready? Like I said just now, download those apps and get used to them. Use the apps. The ones that I would suggest that I utilized, and I know there's a lot more out there, but these are the ones that I used, and they gave me a good idea of what to expect and how to look for things. Okay. iOverlander. Now I'm going to put the little names of the apps down below in the description. Okay, guys. iOverlander, it's a crowdsourced app and it's available for boondocking, finding potable water, showers, things like that. It's crowdsourced. So what that means is that people who use this actually leave spots on the map. Was it good? They'll take pictures. This is what it looked like, and they add to it so it becomes more robust. Is it completely updated? No, not necessarily, but it will give you a good idea of where to start from. Do you know what I mean? Another one, Planet Fitness. I just spoke about a billion times. Get the Planet Fitness app if you guys need to do showers, things like that. I'm going to tell you the showers and the facilities usually at a Planet Fitness were going to be way better than any campsite. And they'll probably be way easier on you than if you had to keep refilling your water tank and then dumping all the gray water that you guys keep producing because you keep taking showers every day in your van. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. The Dirt. The Dirt is another app. It gives you information on campsites and free camping locations. Outdoorsy. Outdoorsy is an app where you can help find yourself a vehicle, either to buy, to purchase one or to rent one. They also had a lot of people on there that were renting them personally. So say I had a camper van, but I don't use it all the time. So maybe I'm willing to rent it out. You can actually, it's kind of like the Airbnb of camper vans and RVs. It was very odd. Hip Camp. Hip Camp was one I wanted to use, but I think we might look at this in the future. Basically, what it is, it's all small, privately owned campsites, RV sites. Some of it's people who own just land and have actually outfitted their land to have maybe a couple of sites on it. Maybe he has a farm and he's by, I don't know, a beautiful lake. And so he takes these two spaces over here so people who RV or boondock and stuff to rent. Maybe he's only going to charge you $25. Think about that. And you have like a wild thing. And it might be, I saw some that actually were on a farm and you could tour the farm. That to me would be great. Can you imagine pulling up in your RV thing, plugging in at this little thing by the lake, and then you go look at the ducks and the cows? That would be beautiful. I love these kind of little apps because it like makes it even more like adventurous. You know what I mean? All right, packing tips. I'm going to tell you, keep it light. No one wants to move everything. Everybody hates to move anyway. So why are you trying to move your entire place into a little bitty camper van? Come on, stop it. You don't need all that stuff. Okay. Bring a laundry bag. This is so you can chuck all of the clothes and everything else into the laundry bag and you don't have to go search for all your dirty clothes. Also, it's very easy to pick up and take to the laundry facilities when you have to do real life. One thing I found I thought was really good, get Turkish cotton towels. I think it's called Turkish towels. They're basically cotton thin towels. They're not the terry cloth ones that are big and bulky and fluffy. These are just cotton towels. What's great about them? You can use them as a towel. You can use them as a wrap, cover your body up in because they're huge. They're soft because they're cotton. And then you can also use them just as a spread, like a picnic thing on the ground. But they don't weigh or as bulky as a blanket or a big towel. Come on, that's great. We got I think we got 4 of them. Now I got them from Temu, so they were super inexpensive. But I loved them. They were great and stuff. So also they dry out way faster. You hang them up and I'm going to say within an hour or so they were completely dry because they were that much thinner. So definitely do the Turkish towels. Packing cubes. I can't tell you how much Joe was talking about the packing cubes. He loved the packing cube idea. He thought the packing cube idea was just a phenomenal thing and stuff. I loved it. It kept my stuff organized. Instead of trying to transfer clothes from a suitcase or carry a suitcase in a camper van. Listen, space is at a premium. You don't need a bulky, Samsonite luggage coming rolling on in there. Keep your Louis Vuitton bag somewhere else. You don't need that in the camper van. You're camper vanning it, okay? Van life, guys. So just get some packing cubes, and all you do is move the packing cubes. Everything's in a little teeny tiny packing cube box. This one is for, your, underwear and stuff. This one is for all your t-shirts. This one's for all your shorts and your jeans. This one is for, whatever. Figure it out. And then we also used one beach bag each, and that was our basically shower bag. So we put everything that we would need for the shower, like your towel, this, that, whatever it was. And if it was clothes and stuff, you just threw those ones in for the day. And that's what we walked in every single place for doing our showers and stuff. It worked out phenomenally. Like, Joe's like, this is a great idea. I'm like, you don't need to be dumbling with all of your stuff. You need one bag and you need to look put together when you walk in there. It'll make your life easier. He was all in. He's like, you got this down. Okay, next thing to do. I'm going to strongly suggest everybody grocery shop. Okay? You're doing a camper, a van life thing. If you want to go out to eat all the time, go ahead. All right? One thing I found whenever I travel and I go out to eat and it's a constant thing, like you're on vacation, you're just eating out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You get sick of the food. It doesn't make a difference in how good the food is. You're sick of the food. You just want regular food. You want your snacks. If it's, you like pecans, then you like pecans. If you want just your coffee in the morning, you just want coffee in the morning. Maybe you just want a yogurt with some strawberries. Go to the grocery store, buy things that you would like to eat and that can travel well. We bought sausage and cheese and some meats and stuff. We bought some fruit, some yogurt, some dried, coconut, things like that for ourselves. We bought a lot of little chips and snacks. And by chips, I mean pork rinds, but you guys can buy chips if you want. You guys know we don't do the chips. But things like that are going to be easy for you to carry, easy for you to grab and go, stuff like that. That's going to make it like, oh, I can pull over and have some lunch and I don't have to go in anywhere. Makes for a huge difference. Okay. I mean, we actually ended up barely eating out. That's how crazy it was. We barely ate out, Don't forget the salt, pepper, and the sweeteners. You got to bring those little things. Activity. This is a big one, and I learned this one the hard way. You cannot plan on doing consecutive long haul days, day after day. You can't do it, okay, guys? And by long haul, I'm talking like 6-8 hour days. You can't do it. I mean, I guess if you're a trucker, go right ahead, but we're regular people, okay? I go, you need to get out and you need to move. And probably after about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of driving, you need to get out of the van. I know it's going to sound ridiculous, but because like you're saying, I can drive all the way to Florida. Yes, you can, but you're going to Florida and you're probably staying there for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And then you're driving back. You're not driving 5 hours this day, 6 hours that day, 4 hours this day. You're not doing that. When you do that, it takes a toll on your body. And by the toll, what it did to me is that I have a predisposition to like retain water. I really don't, but that's because here in real life, I walk. I walk every single day. But when you're in van life, you sit. You sit every single day for multiple hours. So what happened to me? Yes, I ended up having ankle swelling, knee swelling, joints were not happy about it and stuff. And towards the end of the ride, it was a bit of a problem. And then I ended up with a wonky knee because of it. it's going to be fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to get out and you need to walk. So you need to plan that way. Stop with like you're going to hit 10 freaking destinations in 5 days. It's not going to happen. You need to take a break. And I did. So just remember that. And also drink plenty of water. Because the more water you drink, the less water you retain. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. You know, just do self care. I even brought face masks so we could do face mask night one time. Anything like that. Face masks, bring a little incense, something along those lines, little mood lighting. I don't care if it's music. Make yourself a nice playlist, do something. And then the last tip I have is hotels. Yes, we are van lifing it, but like I said, be flexible with yourself. If you feel the need to stay in a hotel, stay in a hotel. It's not going to kill you. Park the van, go inside, just take stuff for the overnight, and enjoy the hotel for the day. That's fine. Enjoy it. We did it on our last day, on our last night of van life. We went to Atlantic City and we decided, I knew that I could get a comped room at one of the casinos because I have a host there. I just made the reservation, not a problem, got a free room. We enjoyed the room. We crashed so hard. I loved it, and then we got back in the van and we finished out the trip. But just remember, flexibility is key for this kind of adventure. I swear, you can have so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we will be doing it again. In fact, I know we're going to be doing it again. Maybe we won't do it for as long. Maybe we'll stick to a smaller portion of the world. You know what I'm saying? But we'll definitely do it again. Joe really enjoyed it. It was camping without all of the things you need to do for tent camping, which I refuse to do. I'm not doing no tent camping. Hell no. This girl can't do that. No, no. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope it was kind of helpful. And I hope it kind of shown a little bit of reality on there. If you guys want to check out how it all went down, I'm going to put the links here at the very end on the end screens. You guys can look at the Van Life Adventure. There's a whole playlist of it. Lots of shorts. Live every day, if not twice. So check it out. Thank you so much for listening to Strange Conversations. Until next time, see you then. Bye.